Today's Locked On Thunder podcast. Who are the winners and losers from the start of this season, and what trends should you be following for the Thunder?
You are Locked On Thunder, your daily Oklahoma City Thunder podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Let's get it going on the Locked On Thunder podcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, the number one sports podcast network in the world, because of you everydayers who listen to the show every single day. I'm your host, media member and beat writer for Thunder on SI.com, Rylan Stiles. Follow the show on Twitter at Rylan_Stiles. Follow the show on Twitter at Little Thunder Pod. On today's show, we're joined by Justin Martinez of the Oklahoman, covering the Thunder home and road, to talk about the winners and losers from the season thus far. About a quarter of the way in. That's not a math pod, but we can make that round up if we need to. 3 trends that we're monitoring for the rest of the season, and we're going to preview what's going to be a fun week of basketball in Oklahoma City after these 2 off days. J Mart, happy Thanksgiving to you. Let's start it with there. What's your favorite Thanksgiving food?
Oh man, I'm more of a ham guy than a turkey guy. I don't know. I don't really touch the turkey much on Thanksgiving.
You know, ball.
I'm just I'm just a ham guy. Maybe some slices of pineapples with it. That's a big thing for me. And then just like all the good stuff, the mac and cheese, mashed potatoes, all of that. But it's really the turkey that I don't know. I don't want to call it overrated. But it's definitely not one of my favorite meats. I'll just say that.
Yeah, it's grandfathered in. It's like Udonis Haslam on the Heat, right? Like, he isn't really a part of the team for a few years there, but you got to keep him around. Little dry on the turkey. You got to go turkey leg if you go turkey at all. Also, the what's it called? Tryptophan, whatever it's called, that brings you down whenever you eat turkey. That's kind of a PED in the opposite direction. I need PEDs going with the uppers. I'm an upper guy, not a downer guy. Sure. On today's episode, it's brought to you by Game Time. Go download the Game Time app, create your account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. J Mart, I asked you for 3 winners and 3 losers of this NBA season so far. Give me your first winner from this season.
Yeah, first one's kind of a little bit of an obvious one, but I just think I got to give so much credit to Detroit and what they're doing out there. Obviously had a big step forward last season. This is a team that had, 8 straight losing seasons before that. Was able to make the playoffs. I was a little bit concerned about their offseason in the sense that they had lost, Malik Beasley, Tim Hardaway Jr. I thought that added floor spacing. 3-point shooting was a big reason why they had that success last year. So I was a little bit iffy on bringing in Duncan Robinson, Karis LeVert, 2 good 3-point shooters with different types of 3-point shooters, but they've both been phenomenal, shooting 40+% from deep. The team is doing well. Cade's taking another step. Jalen Duren has as well. So that would be one of my big winners. It's just good to see Detroit have some stuff to be happy about, man. Those fans have been through enough. So to have them have some winning basketball, I'm super happy for them. They're definitely a winner.
Oh, dude, that place is going to be rocking the rest of the season. I cannot wait. And it feels like Detroit as a city turning the tide in the sports world. Detroit Tigers had a nice little season. The Lions are on an impeccable run, the best run of our lifetime as a Lions guy. You know that. And now these Pistons are really cooking. And the Thunder Pistons, they had a fun game last year in Detroit, which got JB Bickerstaff all fired up. I cannot wait to see these two teams face off. I'm a huge believer in their defense, huge believer in their depth, and of course, Cade Cunningham. Speaking of number one options, my big winner is SGA. Like J Mart, this is a guy who we finally thought we could definitively say he hit his ceiling. As a guy who last year was the scoring champion, NBA MVP, West Finals MVP, NBA Finals MVP, on the cover of 2K, the star in the Netflix doc. Like, he was on top of the world last year, still is on top of the world this year. But the only areas that we've discussed to see Shai improve has been his playmaking and his 3-point shot. Those 2 things have improved for this team. His live dribble passing is so much better at generating quality looks for the Thunder and finding the open man. And then from 3, he's been on a heck of a run in November, and it's because they're allowing to set him up off the ball more with wide open catch and shoot threes. But his step back 3, which he's been building since he got to Oklahoma City, he's been trying and experimenting with these step back 3s. Now they're smoother, they're quicker, they're more efficient, and you're seeing him flirt with being a 50, 40, 90 guy. And if you have to start respecting him from 3, it changes the game for this team in the playoffs, a team that really struggled at times in the playoffs in the half court. You look at this one defining play of what we mean by that, J Mart, was a couple of nights ago when you had Shai at the top of the key. Ihart and Chet are in the paint. Ihart whips a pass out to Shai. He's open for three, and the defender from Chet, who's in the dunker spot, races to the top of the key to try to take away a Shai three. And that lets Shai find Chet wide open at the rim for the most efficient shot in basketball, which is a 7-1 guy in the dunker spot going up to slam it home. Like, if you can manipulate a defense in that way to where they really have to start picking him up at the three-point line, not only does it open up advantages for other players, but let's think about this from Shai coming down with the ball in his hands. If you're picking him up at the three-point line, he can so much more easily get to those mid-range shots and at the rim and get past you versus when your pickup point used to be, around the elbow for Shai. So he can really change his game and go to even a higher level, which sounds crazy, but it's true if this trend continues.
Yeah, and then imagine when you add another All-NBA scorer in J-Dub in the mix, also another thing for defenses to worry about. I mean, it really just is insane. Shai just continues, like you said, to take his game to the next level. He just has that mindset where he's just not satisfied. We talked about it a couple episodes ago that he wasn't even happy with the way that OKC won a finals. Like, it really is a crazy approach to it. But you could see that he just continues to work on his game, and yeah, that's a big area in his game that he has improved. That step back shot has really been something else. And just looking at the numbers too, like the first 6 games of the season was shooting 27.8% from deep. And then in this month, in the what is this here? This is the 12 games in November, shooting 49.2% from deep on 5.1 attempts. Just completely, like you said, changes the way the defense has to defend him. And then when you add some more weapons once they get healthier, I really don't know how you defend this team.
Yeah, it's a pick your poison option. And my second winner has been Ajay Mitchell as a guy who has gotten so much notoriety nationally. Like, you're looking at Bill Simmons' pod talking about Ajay Mitchell twice in November. It's crazy to think about that this is a guy who not only got those segments, but is also on Zach Lowe and Bill Simmons' top 100 player list already, as someone who generates table setting for this team as another guard, another handler, which they needed a year ago, and now they have. A guy who can get to the rim relentlessly, finish through contact, and draw fouls. And then I still believe in buying his three-point shot. You're slowly seeing it come around right now, getting back to where it's always been for him. As a rookie, he was an awesome catch-and-shoot shooter. In college and high school, he was an awesome catch-and-shoot shooter. This is something that will happen for him throughout the course of the season once J-Dub returns to this lineup. And Ajay Mitchell has clearly been a big winner and clearly has done a lot for his reputation to start this season.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, at first it was a matter of, okay, is he going to be able to run the second unit? Let's just start off with that. Obviously with Jada about, Nikola Topic as well. Then it became, okay, can he actually, run with the first unit? He does that well too. Can he close out games? He does that well too. His just adaptability. He's just someone that, Shai had mentioned at the start of the season, like, he's that guy who you want on your pickup team, because he's just going to come out and it's just going to be a free-flowing, easy adjustment. He's just someone who can play alongside anybody. He's so good at finishing at the rim already. He's just able to absorb contact so well. I think defensively, that was kind of one of the question marks. Okay, how much is he going to be able to elevate his game on that end of the floor? He's not just like hanging around out there. Like, he actually is getting into passing lanes, averaging 1.8 steals, which is obviously a career high. I think even per 36 wise, have it here, 2.3 steals per 36 minutes compared to 1.5 last season. So it's not just a matter of him getting more minutes. Like, he's getting more active there, holding his own on the perimeter. He's added some strength, which you could tell is helping him out as well against bigger opponents. Like, he's just a guy who does a little bit of everything, and just plays with such a poise. It really is impressive, especially this early in his career.
Now, what's your second big winner after Detroit? Who are you penciling in as a winner?
So, okay, so we're going around the league, right? Because I just want to make sure.
Yeah, you can go around the league. You can whip it around.
Cool. I want to say I'm going to give credit to the Lakers front office with their additions this offseason. I feel like a trend that we see a lot of times is Lakers fans get all hyped up about this person that they brought in, and then the person just doesn't really tend to materialize. Doesn't tend to meet expectations. I don't want to say any names, but it's been a reoccurring theme the past few years. But this year, you look at DeAndre Ayton. He's given them some really good minutes. He's been a good rim runner. It seems like his mentality has been good as well. He's actually had some really good like post-game interview quotes and stuff like that. It seems like he's enjoying his time there. Jake LaRabia has had some good production for them, especially when they have been really shorthanded. He's had some big nights, and then Marcus Smart, has brought that defensive versatility, that grit. He's starting to play some really good basketball after obviously moving around the last few years. So like they really have hit on all of their additions this summer, which I don't think I could really think of a previous year, at least recently, that the Lakers have done that. So I got to give credit to their front office with the pieces they brought in. They did a really good job.
I like that. I'm gonna end my winners with another Thunder one before I join you in the national NBA talk for my losers. Isaiah Hartenstein, super aggressive now as a scorer. You saw that career night in Sacramento, but he's able to just be more functional offensively because of his willingness to take it off the dribble and get to the rim, finish plays off of lobs, off of rolls, off of cuts, and he's still that facilitator that this team needs in the high post. Plus his aggressiveness on the glass, boxing out, physicality defensively. It's all that stuff that you just cannot recreate without Isaiah Hartenstein, and he has been the constant in the midst of the Thunder battling plenty of injury struggles to start this year. He's been one of the guys to play every single game, and he's been needed in every single game to help this team turn the tides in games and get off to this incredible start, best start in franchise history. J Mart, I want to get your last winner, and then we'll go to our losers all coming up. But first, I want to say right now, we're good friends over at Game Time. Go check out Game Time today because Game Time is incredible, folks. It's the NBA season, and you likely have family in town today, and you want to go see the Thunder take on the Timberwolves, a rematch of the Western Conference Finals. Nothing beats being in the arena for games like this, the new NBA Cup Court on display. Let's be real. Getting tickets can be a total headache at times between waiting in queues, surprise fees, prices jumping right before checkout. It's easy to get frustrated when all you want to do is cheer on your team. That's where Game Time comes in. It's the app that gives fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NBA tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. Go check them out today at Game Time because I love that there's no hidden fees. I love that the price you see is the price you pay when you go to Game Time. They also have incredible zone deals. It's a game changer. You pick the section you want to sit into. Game Time picks your seats that you will save big on. You can even find NBA tickets for under $25. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app today, create your account, use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms and conditions apply. That's code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Swipe, tap, tick, go at Game Time. We're back on the Lockdown Thunder podcast on the Lockdown Podcast Network, your teams every day. Talking with Justin Martinez, covering the Thunder for the Oklahoman, home and road, everywhere in the world. We could play a game, which it would be an easy game to guess because you just follow the Thunder schedule. But where in the world is J Mart on any given day because he's a world traveler now? But Justin, who's your last winner on the three winners from the start of the season?
I'm gonna give some love to Derek Queen, man. I would still say New Orleans is a loser in the sense of giving up that first round pick for next year. Yeah. I mean, just that's something that I think everybody was surprised to see. I don't think that really has changed. And I think that put Derek Queen in a really tough position where he's always going to be tied to whoever that pick ends up becoming. But he has really gotten off to a great start. Now that he's actually been able to get some starts under Coach James Borrego. He's averaging 12.4 points this season, 6.5 rebounds, 3.3 assists. His playmaking is really impressive, especially at his size. And yeah, I'm happy for him that he is able to kind of shed some of that, I guess, baggage, if you want to call it that, in the sense that people are always going to be comparing him to whoever that pick turns into. He's really established himself as a good NBA player. So that's good for him. I'm calling him a winner for sure.
Yeah, he has been a winner, and he's been someone who him and Jeremiah Fears has given some hope back, however little that they can, to this New Orleans fan base. And, he unfairly will be judged by that trade, but it was not his decision to make that trade. The process of that trade was wrong. Targeting Derek Queen and banking on Derek Queen was right. It's just the process of how they did it that really fell flat for New Orleans. But Derek Queen is proving that that was a pick worth making, that that was a player worth banking on. And it's unfair to him, and I hate it for him, that he's always going to be he's always going to have the caveat of his play that the Pelicans made a terrible trade to get him. However, it was not a terrible pick. It was a great pick, and he's proving that to be the case right now. I'm going to join you on the national NBA scale. I'm going to go BOGO sale on my two losers to start things off. Buy one, get one free. The Clippers and the Jazz are big losers for different reasons. The Clippers, losers because it is not that long ago, Justin, where we were talking about this team. Oh, they've added depth this offseason. Oh, Bradley Beal's going to be able to reshape his image now in LA, and this team can be a home court advantage seed. They can be a top 5 seed. They can avoid the play-in. And now they're sitting here at 5-10, and they're on the verge of giving the Thunder another lottery pick. And as we've seen every single year since the flattened lottery odds, like we've seen teams jump nonstop since this has happened. And that pick is really, really enticing from the Clippers. And then for the Jazz, it's kind of for a different reason. They're 5-12 as well, but it's in a different vein. Yes, they've been able to lose 4 straight, which is good for them, but they still sit with the 8th best lottery odds. That only gives them a 23.5% chance to jump into the top 4. And if they're the ones who gets jumped, they have a 34% chance of handing the Thunder pick 9 and a 7.5% chance of handing the Thunder pick 10. Like, you combine those odds and you feel really good about where that pick can land for Oklahoma City when it comes to the fact that you remember that this trade was all based upon a Derek Favors salary dump, and they could walk into, pick 9 or 10 in return for that. And the dangerous part about this for Utah, and why I still consider them a loser, is that you need to get to the top 5 lottery odds to be able to feel comfortable about not giving your pick away. Because if you get to the 5 line, you only have a 0.6 chance of giving it to OKC. And if you get to 4 or better, you literally have 0% chance of giving your pick to OKC. So they need to get to the 5 line to feel really confident. And the teams that are ahead of them in the reverse standings, it's like Washington's 1-5, Indiana's 2-15, New Orleans is 3-15, Brooklyn's 3-14. It's these teams who not only are losing, but have no way to stop losing. Whereas Utah, like, if they were to play this out competitively, they're going to get more wins than those teams. They're going to be able to put their young core on the line each night against bad teams and win those games against bad teams. So they're going to have to shuffle the deck, take away Lauri Markkanen in some capacity, trade him, or just sit him for the rest of the season and find ways to lose. And so, like, the fact that we're even discussing this Jazz pick is insane to me. You would have thought that they'd be one of these 1-win teams, not because they have bad talent, but because of their priority list. But instead, they've already got 5 wins.
Yeah, definitely. Also, another, like, a little thing, they banned signs, like fan-made signs. Did you see that?
Oh, did they go the eco route? Oh, no, that's always a bad.
Yeah, so, like, the Jazz fans, you should be praising them for showing up to these games, and then you're also going to restrict them? Like, that's pretty crazy. I will say I'm glad for Keontae George. He's really improved his game, especially as a playmaker. Lauri Markkanen has improved his draft stock. Certainly, I think a lot of people were kind of low on it, or lower after last season. So there's something you can work with there. But yeah, they're still in that position where it's like, they should be one of the worst teams in the league, and they're just a little too good right now. The Clippers, I was one of those, like, I don't want to say full-on believers, but you could see on paper there was a lot of talent there. I probably should have known better. It's just too old of a team. Obviously, there was going to be regression. There was going to be injuries, that sort of stuff. So totally with you there. I'll say, speaking of fans, another loser is just Mavericks fans, man. And this isn't me, like, calling them a loser to put them down even more. I feel bad for them. They've been through enough at this point. A small win, obviously, Nico Harrison being gone. That's great. But man, this team 5-14, worst offensive rating, 105. It's just, it's a brutal watch, man. And you could see it coming as well. Like, you don't have a true facilitating point guard. You're trying to run Cooper Flag out there at the 1. He's been a loser in the sense because he was thrown into a really tough situation to start his career. Klay Thompson, I feel bad for him as well. He did not sign up for this. He's a loser in this sense as well. So just everything going on in Dallas, it's a really tough situation. The only positive is that this should result in a good pick. And eventually, if you're able to trade Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving, maybe see what you can get out of that. You can really build around, Cooper Flag, a top pick, and then whatever you get from there. So there is light at the end of the tunnel, but right now it's pretty brutal in Dallas.
Yeah, it is. And you feel for them so much because they went from being in the NBA Finals to trading Luka Doncic and now having a situation where they're going to have to get even worse than this to get better. And they're going to have to go even lower than they are right now as a franchise to end up turning it around. And we're not even a year removed from that Luka trade, and it's already this bad. And this is going to have ripple effects for the rest of time. And this is a moment with Dallas that it's going to be hard to recover from, period. Now, there are options. Like, they need to tank this year as the 1 year that they control their pick. But that's another point. They don't control their picks moving forward. So it's like, what are they going to do after this draft? And that's why this draft is so critical for them to not only tank, but hit their pick wherever it lands and kind of move forward with this core centered around Cooper Flag and whoever you get in the 26th draft. But, J-Mart, who's your other loser from the NBA or anywhere else?
I'm going to say the Magic offseason hype with their additions, Desmond Bane being a big one. I mean, we knew they needed 3-point shooting. They needed floor spacing. Desmond Bane figured to help with that. He really hasn't done a ton of it so far. 34.1% from deep this season for him on 4.9 attempts. Even like another addition, he was like an under the radar one. Like Tyus Jones was a 40% 3-point shooter for the past few seasons. And it's been brutal for him as well. I mean, I'm looking at his stats, averaging 1.7 points, shooting 28.3% from the field, 19.2% from deep. Just the guys that they brought in have not been able to fully help. Luckily, they've had guys like Tristan Da Silva take a step. I think Wendell Carter Jr. has played some good basketball. Jalen Suggs, when he's able to stay on the floor, has been good. And then obviously we know what like Franz and Paolo are doing. So in that sense, that's good. But in terms of the additions they brought in and just that hype that was there heading into the season, I think it's kind of died down. So I'm going to call that a loser in that sense.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Our last losers for me, it's Netflix / NBA fans canceling Starting Five. Look, it wasn't anything hard hitting, but when you really dissect like Hard Knocks and like the quarterback show on Netflix, these shows that have proven to work, they're not that hard hitting either. They're very formulaic. It's just a shame that like the one behind the scenes kind of glimpse that you got of NBA life is now taken away. So it's a loser. And again, it wasn't some like cinematic masterpiece, but it was fun, and we lost something fun.
Yeah, without a doubt. I for one, I mean, I know it's not a popular opinion in OKC. I love hearing Kevin Durant talk about just the game. Like, I just think he's one of the most interesting players in this league. James Harden, I thought it was great to see a different side of him from just the club loving player that we kind of know him as. Personally, we don't know as. We got to see him as a family man. Got to see him as a romantic. That was cool. Even like Jaylen Brown, I think is another guy who I love hearing talk as well. I just think he's got a really good, head on his shoulders. So I thought it was cool. But yeah, even like J-Dub took to Instagram and saying that it sucked and that, they got rid of all the good parts, which I guess we'll never know just how good that stuff was. But yeah, that's unfortunate. I will say my last loser, I'm going to say Brandon Podziemski for just the way that he like kind of set himself up to kind of fall short of expectations with the whole I want to be better than Steph. I want to have the torch passed down to me thing. Anthony Slater reported that a lot of people in the organization kind of rolled their eyes at that. And it just, you're putting this pressure on yourself that's kind of unnecessary. We're talking about Derek Queen. He was not wanting all of this pressure and all this stuff that came onto him. This guy just kind of like brought it on himself. And it's not like he's really doing anything too special this year either. It's about the same. His shooting splits are about the same. I'm not really seeing a big jump out of him. So I'm going to say that is a loser in that sense. Just the fact that, you didn't have to do this to yourself. You didn't have to put these expectations on yourself. And you're not meeting them right now as you would expect because Steph is that good.
Yeah, Steph is that good. And it's just, Pods is a loser in this scenario. And hopefully for a sake, he can turn it around. But it is not off to a great start for him this season. But coming up, let's talk about trends that you need to be following for this Thunder season moving forward and preview what should be a fun week of basketball in Oklahoma City. But first Wednesday right now, my good friends over at Drip Drop. Go check out Drip Drop today because they're awesome. Whenever you're hydrated, everything just works better, from focus to energy to mood. Even your skin is better. That's why I've been using Drip Drop. The doctor developed hydration that keeps you going, running at full power, no matter what your day looks like. Drip Drop isn't your average sports drink. It delivers 3 times the electrolytes and half the sugar of leading brands using a science-backed formula trusted by medical professionals, firefighters, and over 90% of top college teams and pro teams. Go check it out today at Drip Drop. My favorite flavor is berry. I love it. You just throw a packet in your backpack, in your work bag, get a bottle of water, dump it in there. It's a lot of fun. It's a secret weapon. Hydration has become non-negotiable because of how great Drip Drop is. It helps you feel sharper, calmer, and honestly just better overall. Right now, Drip Drop is offering podcast listeners 20% off your first order. Go to dripdrop.com, use code LOCKEDONNBA. That's dripdrop.com, promo code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off, for 20% off your first order. Stock up now before the heat hits hard and keep your body and mind performing at the best level with Drip Drop. We're back on the Locked On Thunder podcast and the Locked On Podcast Network, your teams every day. J Mart, 3 trends to follow, and I think that we've hit on one already, but it's SGA and his 3-point volume. If you want to give him a little bit more credit, your stats were fantastic as well. It's just been all November. But since November 9th, he's at 50% shooting from 3 on 5 attempts per game. Like, this has been stellar, and this has been unique this season. This is a massive leap for him from what he's ever really been before as a shooter. If this trend continues, like, this is one that you really need to put under the microscope because of how much it correlates to future playoff success and success in an even larger way than winning the championship, as you described. To Shai's point, Shai does not believe that they won that championship playing their best basketball. This helps you play your best basketball. This helps you play better in that half court and blow teams out more if Shai is this level of shooter.
Yeah, without a doubt. That was actually also going to be one of my trends, but I think there's so many positive things you can say about Shai. So I'll pivot to another one, is just his efficiency with the basketball, in the sense that he's not turning this ball over. Like, usage rate 35.3, which is a career high from him. And yet he is averaging 1.8 turnovers, which is his lowest since his rookie year, where obviously he didn't have nearly as big of a role, only 26 and a half minutes with the Clippers. So the way that he's able to take care of the basketball, despite the big workload, it's just so impressive to me. The way that he sees the game, the patience that he plays with, the trust that he has in his teammates, and vice versa. It just seems like he's in such a groove right now. And it just doesn't really seem to matter whoever you throw at him. It just does, you can't really seem to throw that off. So yeah, that's another big trend for me, is just the way that he's taking care of the basketball. Is just at another level right now.
And the trend, another one I'm following, and I want to get your 2 after this one. Casen Wallace at the rim, because here's the thing with Casen Wallace. He's taken a massive step forward defensively, which is crazy in its own right, because he was already a great defender. But what you're seeing him do, leading the league in steals, we are seeing him do against top options. Like, it's stellar stuff. And they've talked about his change of preparation. What's also been great for Casen, he's shooting 48% on corner threes in the 86th percentile, the highest clip of his career in the corner. The shots that get funneled to him all the time, because when you look at the modern NBA, you're not trying to take everything away. You're trying to take things away that you cannot live without taking away. And teams have felt like they can kind of live with Casen in the corner. For example, last year, he shot 34% in the corner. This 48% clip right now that he's on is exactly what the Thunder need as a release valve to take pressure off of their half-court offense. And right now, why I'm monitoring his rim finishing is that he's at 66%. Not terrible, but as a rookie, he shot 73% at the rim. If he can kind of combine those two, of like this 48% in the corner and then get back to this 73% range at the rim, then he becomes an extraordinarily great play finisher for this team. And as a complementary piece playing off of Shai, Chet, J-Dub, iHeart's playmaking, that's exactly what this team needs.
Yeah, without a doubt. A lot of those finishes being in transition, and those are just such energy plays as well. When he gets that steal, he gets to the rim, occasionally posterizes someone. Like, those are the plays that you need out of a guy whose role is to come in and provide that energy. The 3-point shooting, we've talked about it before. I think long-term, the best idea, or the best version of this team, is probably Chet at the 5. Obviously, we can't see a ton of that right now just due to the personnel they have because of injuries. But a big thing of that is, Casen's obviously gonna have to knock down his shots if he is going to be in that starting lineup. And for him to be knocking down a three ball like that, especially from the corner, I just think that's another big thing that just helps open up the rest of this offense. I think another trend, we kind of talked about it a little bit, but Ajay Mitchell's defense, I think is kind of just flown under the radar a little bit. He's holding opponents to 41.8% shooting from the field, and specifically from the 25 to 29 feet range, 34.3%. So we're seeing him hold his own on the perimeter. We're seeing him get in the passing lanes, like we said, averaging a career high in steals, both traditional stats and also per 36. And I mean, that's just another thing that's going to make it so hard to keep him off the floor once this team gets healthy. We know what he does as a playmaker. We know he can finish at the rim. We know that even though his, efficiency is naturally going to go down as he has a bigger role shooting wise, but he can obviously knock it down from deep. And then if he's holding his own on defense as well, it just really makes him such a complete player. So that's another trend that I'm monitoring, is just his continued growth on that end of the floor.
Yeah, and Mark talked about that in training camp, of like expecting him to be better with his bigger frame now, and things that he's done in the offseason to get better, and being able to just kind of sit back and diagnose the NBA for a lot of his rookie season last year, being hurt. I'm also going to look for Chet Holmgren. Right now, he's shooting 55% on mid-range jumpers in the 82nd percentile, 64% on long mid-range jumpers at the 85th percentile, 52% in the short mid-range in the 73rd percentile. Like, he's electrifying in the mid-range, and he's at 80% at the rim, 92nd percentile in the NBA. This has been a developed trend for him. To compare it, he only shot 33% in the mid-range as a sophomore. And then as a rookie, he shot 48%, but on lower volume. And now he's at 55% on higher volume in the mid-range. At the rim, he's shooting a career high 81%. So how does this look once J-Dub is back and you're being flanked by Shai, J-Dub, iHeart, all guys who want to be around the basket, want to be in the mid-range, and how does he keep this volume and efficiency as a play finisher? I think that it'll happen for him. I think that it'll actually elevate him as a play finisher, playing next to J-Dub, and once he returns, and you get a full complement of like this pick your poison lineup. But it is worth monitoring of just how different this offense can look if Chet's the guy that he has been to start this season, where what he does in the mid-range, it erases the one advantage defenses thought they could get over the Thunder, which is playing zone. If he can just flash in the mid-range, turn around and hit a mid-range jumper at the nail, like, this stuff really matters. So monitoring Chet and this improvement, I think, is a big deal.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's been a big development in his game. I will say I'm a little bit not concerned, but just I do wonder how it's going to look where if he does play some more five once they are fully healthy, all of a sudden you're shooting over, 7-footers in that mid range as opposed to shooting over a 4, which I think has really helped him get his efficiency up. He's able to, shoot over those guys. But yeah, it just seems like his willingness to take that shot has gone up. His efficiency has. And yeah, that's definitely another thing that just really unlocks a new level of his game. I'd say another trend, and this is kind of an obvious one, but like just the defensive rating of this team, despite the guys that they're missing. Like, obviously last year, an all-time level defense, but this year 102.8 compared to 106.6 last year. Obviously, it's early in the season, but the fact that they're doing this without an all-defensive player in Jalen Williams, and even just some other guys in the mix as well, like Kenrich Williams, that we're seeing is going to be available, this upcoming game. I'm sure we'll talk about that. But yeah, the way that they're doing this right now, despite being without guys, Chet has missed games, Lou Dort has missed games. Like, these are all great defenders, and yet it doesn't really seem to matter what the personnel is. It's just the culture. It's just the system this team has created. And defensively, they haven't missed a beat. In fact, they've somehow gotten better.
That's the craziest part, is that they've gotten better and they continue to lap the NBA defensively. Like, the gap between 1 and 2 is as big as the gap between 2 and like 18 right now, defensive rating. It's crazy. And to really contextualize this at home right now, or in your cubicle, whatever you're doing, go to NBA.com and just go back to, call it 2015. From 2015 to present day, how many times do you see the net rating, defensive rating number 1 team repeat the next season? It's very, very, very rare that this happens. It's not to say that every one of those top defenses just falls off a cliff, obviously, but it's hard to be the best defense in the NBA year over year. I sound right now like a defensive-minded head coach in any sport, just trying to gut through another podcast here, but it is really special. I kind of sound like Avery Johnson. I think I sound like Avery Johnson the most right now.
It's not quite at the Doc Rivers level. That's where you get to like the lower kind of thing, but yeah.
I mean,
that's just Rylan does so much hard work, guys. Like I mentioned this. You had that tweet the other day, and the amount of like work that you do, especially all the podcasting, it's super impressive. I didn't mean to cut you off, but
I appreciate that.
But yeah, man, it really is like it's crazy how many of these things you do on just a weekly basis.
I appreciate that. Let's preview what's been a very fun week ahead for Thunder basketball. I think that this will be a great stretch. Let's just keep it simple with the holiday week hoops. Minnesota in town tonight on ESPN. Ant versus Shai. Rematch of the Western Conference Finals. First time seeing the Thunder's home NBA Cup court. And then the Suns on Friday, who are the spunky Suns, who are playing great defense right now. The Thunder sit atop the Western Conference Group A pool play standings. They control their own destiny to get to that knockout stage. Do you feel a different buzz, a different energy about these games coming up, whether it be because of the Cup, whether it be because of these two teams and what they bring to the table storyline-wise? Like, where are you at? Are you as excited as I am for Wednesday and Friday?
Yeah, I definitely am, especially this upcoming one against Minnesota. You know, anytime that it's Shai versus Ant, that's always a lot of fun. Two guys who obviously, strive to be the best of their positions, and are definitely looking to trend in that direction for years and years to come. So that's always fun. And then even Phoenix, like you said, this is a team that I was not expecting to be this, just solid, really. They're obviously, I'm not expecting like a deep playoff or anything like that, but it's a competitive team. I think Dillon Brooks has come in and giving them some toughness, some grit. It's kind of helped really set like the tone there. Obviously, Devin Booker's playing well too, and some other supporting pieces. So yeah, this is going to be a fun one. And then just seeing the uniforms and the court, I think is elite. So that's always fun too. That adds to the whole atmosphere. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to these games.
I'm looking forward to seeing what uniform you show up in tomorrow, because you have been king of the tunnel fits on the media side of things, and it's been great. To preview this, Kenrich is back, so Kenrich is going to make his season debut. Still no Wiggs, still no J-Dub, of course no Topic and Thomas Warber either. And SGA is listed as questionable for this game against Minnesota tonight, but he's questionable with an illness. So me and Shai gutting through it. Let's see who has a better flu game tomorrow, me or Shai. But when you look at these games, let's say that Shai plays in both of them. Does he play 2 straight fourth quarters, which would be rare for this season?
I don't think he does. I think Minnesota, he might have to. Although now that I think about it, if he has his illness, and they even have the slightest opportunity to rest him, maybe they do. But I think in terms of which game is going to be more competitive, it should be Minnesota. Obviously we've seen these matchups before. We know what Minnesota is capable of. So I would assume that he does have to play that game. Phoenix, as much as I was just, praising them, that there's still obviously clear levels to this thing. And I think Phoenix is multiple tiers away from OKC. So I would expect him to be able to rest in that one. So that would be my prediction, but you never know. Phoenix is, playing some good basketball. Minnesota, I think this is like a good measuring stick game for Minnesota, because they actually have not beaten a team above 500 yet this season, which is a pretty crazy stat. They're 0-6 against winning teams, but 10-1 against losing teams. So maybe they come out looking to make a statement. But yeah, I think he has to play 1 fourth quarter, but not 2 in this one.
I think that's a very safe prediction and the correct one. The odds would say, I think, that he's going to play one of them, just given how competitive the Cup has been and how fun the Cup has been, both for the Thunder standpoint and for the rest of the league standpoint. I think that the Cup has been a nice addition. But J-Mart, let them know what you have cooking up. You have stuff all the time at the Oklahoman that you're getting out. Anything you want to plug here, let them know. And also go listen to the Thunder Buddies podcast that you do over there at the Oklahoman. It's a lot of fun over there. I love listening to you and Joe talk hoops. So what do you got for us? Yeah,
I got some fun little kind of feel good stories around the holidays. If people are looking for that, I just did one on Thomas Sorber. Obviously we haven't gotten to hear from him much this season, being injured, but his teammates, his coach have really praised him for just his constant positivity. I got to write about that. Just posted something today on Isaiah Hartenstein and the work that he's done with the community, especially the local boys and girls clubs. So that's fun. And then, got a feature coming in soon on Ajay Mitchell, a guy we've talked about plenty. Kind of just the secrets out on this guy and how good he is. So that'll be coming out soon. And other than that, just a lot of game coverage, as we continue this season.
I love that. J Mart, thanks again for doing this. I'll be pounding away on the cough drops to ensure that we have another pod for you after the Minnesota game. Until then, folks, be good and be good to one another.